Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. US markets were up about 0.5%, but intraday there was a huge volatility and swing in the market because initially when the news came in that the dollar has weakened against the yen to the tune of about 96.6 as against almost about 100 about a couple of days back, there was a sharp negative reaction, but subsequently there was some amount of recovery, and the focus is going to be on the monthly job report that is going to be coming out, because as per the indications given by the Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke, it's the job data and some of the other economic data points which they will be looking into before deciding to tamper with the economic stimulus of QE3. So everybody is keenly going to be watching that data. European markets were down almost about 1% as we had that important meet by the ECB and Bank of England, where the key interest rates have been kept unchanged at about 0.5%. However, the growth forecast for the next year has been lowered to about 0.6% kind of a contraction against the 0.5% kind of a contraction that they had forecasted earlier. So overall sentiment continues to be negative there. And when we look at the Asian markets today morning, Japan is down almost about 1.35%, and most of the other markets are down anywhere from 0.3 to almost about 0.75%. We've seen a huge swing in the Japanese yen against the dollar, and as against a high of 102 a couple of weeks before, it has come down to almost about 96.6 odd level, and that has caused huge swing and volatility across currencies and equity markets. And from the top, the Japan has actually corrected about 18 to 20%, but still it sits with a gain of almost about 22% from January till now. Talking about our own markets, we had a mild pullback in select stocks, particularly banking names like Axis Bank, ICICI Bank and few others, but overall sentiment in the market continues to be a little subdued, as we have seen consistent selling by the FIIs, and even in yesterday's trade, FIIs were net sellers in the cash market to the tune of about 300 crore. The domestic institutions were buyers to the tune of about 250 to 275 crore. And in the index futures, the FIIs were sellers to the tune of about 1138 odd crore. So we are seeing increasingly higher number of sale by the FIIs in the index futures, which is definitely negative from our sentiment. Also, we are seeing a good amount of call writing, around 6300 calls, and some amount of built up around 5700, 5800 puts. So looking at the F&O data points also, there is definitely a sense that the market could actually correct over the next few days. On that note, let me invite Sadhna to take us through important F&O cues, data and strategies that we can have in the F&O markets.
Good morning friends, let's have a view on derivatives. From past couple of trading sessions, we have seen that unwinding activity in open interest with increase in cost of carry or decrease in cost of carry, it's clearly indicating profits are taken away by market participants in long as well as in short positions. And yesterday also we have seen around 5.80 lakh shares were reduced in open interest, and Nifty futures premium also increased from 14 to 15.45 odd levels. And PCR also is at 0.99, that means overall call option has added around 22 lakh shares in open interest, and put option has added around 26 lakh shares in open interest. And if you see 6,100 and followed by 6,200 call option has seen a good activity, and 5,900 call option as well as put option has seen a good activity. If we see, yesterday also markets fell below 5,900 and soon it recovered and traded above the mark of 5,900. So this would be very important level to watch for, and if we are closing below this level, we can see further downside on the cards. But from intraday perspective, one can go along on Tata Chemical with a stop loss of 303.30 paisa. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, the steel demand in India has actually contracted by about 0.8%, from 11.78 million last year to about 11.69 million this year, which is definitely negative for the steel sector as a whole. So companies like Tata Steel, SAIL, even JSW Steel could get negatively affected by this particular news. So one can really look at shorting those stocks in today's market. SL Propec is in talks with 2 to 3 mid-tier private equity players to raise about 150 crore, which would mean that there is going to be a dilution of about 17% of equity in SL Propec. And there are indications from the Prime Minister's office that finally they could actually give a go-ahead to a 10% stake sale in Coal India. There have been contradictory reports coming out on this front, and the workers of Coal India have been opposing the further dilution by the government, but it seems that we could have a final go ahead from the PMO's office as far as Coal India divestment is concerned, which would be negative actually for the Coal India stock, because generally we have seen that the price at which the dilutions have been made are much lower than the current market price. L&T and Tech Mahindra are the contenders for the software services business of Polaris, and as per indications, the bid is going to be put in about $350 odd million. So watch out for some action in the Polaris stock, which has remained in limelight for the past few days. And as per the LIC chairman, LIC had invested almost about 2 lakh crore in the equity market last year, and they are looking at investing about 2.25 lakh crore this year. But majority of this investment has been made in the PSU stocks. The cabinet has come out with some clarification on allowing 30% sourcing for the front-end stores and forbid for the multi-brand retail category. And the government is still considering sourcing restrictions amongst the group companies as far as the requirement of 50% back-end infrastructure is concerned. And as per these guidelines, the multi-brand retail entities will have to make fresh investments in the back-end infrastructure, and they cannot do any acquisition of an existing infrastructure which has already been put into place. Coming to the stock specific news, Tata Power has won about 1.8 billion, which is about 10,240 crore kind of an order in Vietnam for 660 megawatts coal-fired power project. So one can go long on Tata Power with a stop loss of 86.5 and a target of about 92. And India Cement, which has been languishing for the past few days after the IPL controversy surrounding the chairman, Mr. N. Srinivasan, there are reports that the company is looking at exiting the non-core businesses of the company. So one can really go long on India Cement with a stop loss of 66.5 and a target of about 71.5. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great weekend and see you on Monday morning.